in general, quite awesome. He's made a few bob or two at the cinemas.
So yeah, one could say that.
Just a couple of bob. Just a few little nuggets on this.
Modest profit.
Yeah, and basically we're going through the movies, man. So we've seen them all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of you guys have too. And we're just going to give our thoughts on it, just like talk about like where we were at the time, like, you know, because this is like, you know, the main trilogy is like, it's as long as we've sort of been alive.
Yeah.
You know, it's a new franchise, a Spider-Man film franchise, proper. It only really started 2000, so it's very much a product of this generation and where movie studios are at this point. So, you know, let's kick things off. Let's get an honourable mention out of the way with these Spider-Man movies. I'm sure.
Talk about the first ones.
Yeah.
So, 1977. The year of the dodgy haircuts and everything.
Star Wars,
yeah.
Had some pretty stiff competition.
So, 1977. Basically, it was sort of aired as a pilot for a TV series. So they just sort of made a straight to DVD sort of... What, DVD?
DVD.
Tape? Straight to tape.
VHS.
Even that was 90s.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like straight to tape sort of film that came out. Nicholas Hammond is in the title role, so
never doubted him.
30-something sort of guy, and it was looking pretty shocking. Well, it's definitely looks dated now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's say that. I just remember sort of watching it, even as a kid, sort of watching it like, that doesn't look real. Like, sort of a really superimposed man walking down the front of his house and stuff like that. Sort of clearly sort of just been filmed top down, crawling on the floor.
I have to say, I remember watching those really young, like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And I thought they were the coolest things ever, man.
To be honest, when I was 5, yeah.
It was great. It was great. It was so influenced by the karate films at the time as well.
Yeah, Kung Fu films were a big thing.
Spider-Man's a Kung Fu master,
you
know, and his gadgets were just crap. And
obviously, you had all the sort of the very sort of Asian-looking villains as well. Sort of like Kung Fu, sort of, you know.
It was always a threat from overseas, demons. And the Daily Bugle was quite just weird. The whole thing was just weird. If you go back and check them out, they're quite fun. Give them credit for trying, man. They went whole hog with that, you know, because of course, like, you know, Superman was on the horizon, you know, so you know, this is a different time, guys, you know, and they just went for it. And white rope instead of webbing, I love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I mean, yeah, I'm sure, guys, if you want to check those out, I don't know how hard they are to find. They must go for a bit of bob now. I don't know.
I doubt it.
Oh, do you think they've reissued them on DVD? I gotta check it out.
We're gonna have to have a look.
Well, because I was about to say, like, you know, do what I do and sort of raid your grandparents' sort of VHS covered VHS.
Yeah.
That is VHS like a new thing, or like what was there before? I'm not up on like the history of
a videotape.
What is it?
This is before our time, really. We can't really.
Spider-Man Strikes Back.
Spider-Man Strikes Back. Not copying Star Wars at all.
Beautiful.
And what was it? The Dragons Challenge as well.
Dragons. Enter the Dragon, right? Yeah.
I just remember the costume as well, sort of just having that sort of real bug-eye sort of thing.
It was like, they reminded me of spaghetti sieves.
Really?
Like really small ones, like, you know, you drain the water out just like on his friggin', or salt and pepper shakers.
I swear that
like the metal tops, you know.
I swear that they're not the
I think they are.
Civil War. You know, the Civil War costume, his homemade one. I swear that was like a little bit of a nod towards that as well, like with this really sort of goggly eyes sort of thing.
Boogly. What's with the goggles? They help me focus. What's with the salt and pepper lids? You know, it's just like they help me focus. DVD. It comes up on Google.
So we're on the way.
Here we go, man. VHS, look at this. He knows his history. You can get a 2-for-1 deal, guys. So Dragon Challenge and Spider-Man Strikes.
Wow.
And Spider-Man Strikes, yeah.
$2.99.
Okay.
So is it not breaking the bank here?
Yeah, do it. I'm tempted to right now. No, I don't feel I should pay for delivery. I'll go to my grandparents' house, see if I can find it. But yeah, guys, so we're beginning with that, and whoa, would it be a long, long gap before we see a Spider-Man?
20 years. 81 was Dragon's Challenge, and then 21 years later, we finally get
time travel.
Montage.
Just imagine lots of Spider-Man development and papers and people screwing up scripts and litigation, and because we get the closest it came really was James Cameron. So basically, Marvel handed over the rights in the 80s, and it was just in a state of not happening for a very long time.
Yeah.
And, you know, loads of paperwork and stuff that I'm not going to pretend to understand with rights and all this rubbish. James Cameron came close. And I think it's worth touching on, like, you know, his sort of in development Spidey. He was just hot off Terminator.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the sort of barometer of superhero movies at that time was the Burton Batman movies.
True, yeah.
I think we'd have had a pretty adult Spider-Man movie. And I'm not talking
Did we have a
R-rated.
Reeve film as well? Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, the 80s Superman, yeah.
No,
So,
I was just saying,
that's it, yeah.
That sort of thing. That won an Oscar.
Yes.
There we go.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, the Marvel movies are constantly, like, pleasing everyone, and I don't know why it's not recognised outside of visual effects. I'm not on about, like, Best Picture, but I'd feel maybe Robert Downey Jr. should get some kind of supporting acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Even from the Golden Globes. And it's not like awards matter to me at all.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, it's a bit annoying. Anyway.
Lifetime Achievement Award, probably.
Yeah, at the end.
The way he's been in it.
When he actually needs an Iron Man suit to get up on stage.
yeah. Iron Man prosthesis.
Yeah, that's it. He's probably, that's a good idea. So yeah, James Cameron, that movie. I mean, after Avatar, is that something you'd still like to see?
I don't know. To be honest, I think it's probably better to stay where it was. To be honest, I mean, we got a decent Spider-Man film eventually.
And it's not to say like James Cameron's a terrible director. Quite the opposite. I don't think superhero is his shtick.
No.
He can obviously do comedy and humour, but
and you do anti-heroes.
Yeah. I mean, pedigree's there, but who knows, man? It's one of those things to ponder on a quiet day.
Could have been.
Yeah. When you're on the loose, you know. Wonder what James Cameron could have.
What would James Cameron be doing right now?
Well, I'm sure his toilet's made of gold. And from the future, sent to flush. I don't know. I'll just move off this tangent. Spider-Man 2002. I always think it was 1.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, X-Men was 2000. And then, Spider-Man 2002.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Just awesome. I love that movie. Beyond love. It's still my favourite Spider-Man.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because
your favourite one?
I was 11 at the time, and that movie, you know how people say when they went to see, like, Superman, it made them believe a man can fly, was the tagline.
Yeah.
Well, this movie made me believe a man can swing. I got caught up in it, man. And I was never a big Spider-Man fan.
Yeah.
Like, before that, I've always been Batman.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man was just giving me something, like, you know, like, I was like, whoa, and I got really invested in it and opened up all of that. All of a sudden I started reading the Ultimate version of Spider-Man, and I just loved it. It was so romantic. I think the Danny Elfman theme as well made me think of those old Batman movies as well.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, it reminds me of, it's a bygone era in superhero movies now. You know, that sort of like when they made a film first.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like a straight sort of adaptation, you know. A lot of, not saying all, but a lot of movies can be criticised for relying too much on the source material now, as opposed to remembering that it's a movie. People got to watch this.
Yeah. No,
what did you think?
Yeah, it was really refreshing to see this come out. And me, as a Spider-Man fan, it was a long time coming as well. And it was one of the first films, because it was one of these films that made me have this experience for, you know, I hadn't felt in a long time. And that's one where you sort of genuinely fear for the hero.
Yeah.
Coming from it, sort of really root for him and you care for him, and it's just that final battle where he's, you know, going at it with the Goblin, and it just seems hopeless at that point. And I'm thinking, is he going to get out of it? And yeah, it was just really tough to watch as a, you know, what was it, 12-year-old? 13 or 14 at the time.
There was a lot of uproar about the certificate, wasn't there? Because it was a big box office hit, and of course it was that. I remember it being in the news.
I remember walking by the outside of the cinema, and sort of like kids really wanted to go see it, and then the parents sort of look at it and said, "No, that's the bad Spider-Man. We're not seeing that."
What's the good Spider-Man?
I don't know.
Are they getting Spider-Man
we only
Strikes
had one
Back?
at the time. Yeah, maybe. Let's go watch a kung fu movie. But it was quite shocking to see, and yeah, like I say, I hadn't felt that feeling since when I first watched Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, the magic at the movies.
Yeah, it's just
you know, superlatives, and of course you look back at it, and that still holds up. You know, Macy Gray song aside and all that. You got the credit with the friggin' what's his name from Nickelback, Hero.
Oh gosh.
Dude, is it 12? I love that song, man.
I like the Sum 41 one, to be honest.
Oh, is that Spider-Man 2 though?
Spider-Man 1.
Ah.
Yeah, the video was on the DVD.
Yeah, dude, just awesome. Oh yeah, because of course they were all in his apartment, weren't they?
Yeah.
And there was the blood dripping in the music video.
That's it.
I mean, that's great. There were so many, like you were saying about caring for the hero. There were so many like on edge moments in the movie where it was like, and they're a bit hokey now, maybe if you look back on it, but it was like, oh, he's come home from crime fighting and his arm's cut.
Yeah.
And the goblin's in his room. Yeah. Willem Dafoe's giving his best sort of like, who cut the cheese, face, and it's just like, where's Spider-Man?
That's just when he sees it for the first time. It's like, the bike rider knocked me down.
A bike messenger knocked me down. Yeah. Oh, Peter, what happened? Shut up, Ant-Man. God damn it. I love it. And Kirsten Dunst, man, I had the biggest crush on her.
Yeah.
In the first movie. I wasn't cool with the hairstyle change for the second one. I like my Mary Jane with like flame red hair.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, whoa, she's
Lined
cool,
it a little bit, yeah.
Who didn't have a crush on Kirsten Dunst when they were like 12, 13? Great. But yeah, just Green Goblin, cool, man. I loved him talking to himself. It played out like a Saturday morning adventure cartoon. It wasn't ashamed of it, and it was so confident with the way it moved forward, and just like it was like it had done it before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was just like it was the origin story, and we've been there, but it didn't dawdle, did it? It was like half an hour in, he's swinging around doing stuff.
He's doing his wrestling stuff and
Uncle
everything
Ben
like that. Yeah.
teaching him the lesson. Sad. Best Uncle Ben, by the way. Still.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't know what Marvel have got in store for us, flashback wise with Homecoming.
Oh god.
There's got to be. We can't. He's
going to be young
Ben
as well.
Yeah.
That's going to be strange.
Hey, it's Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben's going to be cool again.
He's a classy guy. Hey, he will be young, won't he? Or will he be an absolute player?
Hugh Hefner
sort of thing. Yeah, just like maybe Aunt May did it. Give me your money. I lied. I just loved it, and actually the final fight as well, the slow motion.
Yeah.
Slow mo in its infancy.
Yeah.
Just after the Matrix.
Wait, which bit was slow-mo?
Slow mo when he chucks the grenade.
Oh yeah, right.
Green Goblin.
Yeah.
No. There's lots of slow mo in that movie. So there's the grenade like at the beginning.
Yeah.
There's the grenade when he's like chucking his like flying little blade things at Spidey when they have the fight in the flaming house.
Yeah, that's like halfway through the film, not the end.
Yeah. No, then there's an extra bit. Steve, you need to watch this again. I watch this movie every Christmas, so I'm quite up on this film.
Right.
It's a Christmas movie for me. When he chucks the grenade at, they're fighting in the cemetery area. He chucks and it's slow mo, and his face, Peter Parker's face, the mask rips off, and the blood.
Yeah, I remember
sprays
that. That's the beginning of the fight. Yeah, beginning of the fight.
Yeah, but at the end,
the other one as well. It's like halfway through the film.
Yeah, but there's a lot of slow mo. I swear there's more slow mo. Maybe when Stan Lee's saving the girl, remember? And it's just like, yeah, she'd have died. Love it.
True.
Stan Lee, Spider-Man, Sam Raimi. Whoa. Was this franchise on a high, man, and it made like a colossal. It was like in excess of like 800 million. This thing was everywhere. Spider-Man toys, Spider-Man stickers, stickers. Just thinking, stickers. So good. And then of course, 2 years later, whoa, this is quite interesting. I didn't realise so close together.
Well, it's the
2004, man.
After the deal, well, it's just the deal. They the ball's rolling, to be honest, wasn't it?
I know.
They really got.
But they just went straight back in.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire, great. He was just like, man, I'm a movie star now.
He was a movie star before that.
Well, no, for real. He's not just that weird dude in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Like, he's in a movie, like, for real. He's Spider-Man. He was good Spider-Man as well. I know you had issues with him being a bit old, but you don't notice that sort of stuff when you're younger. I think it's when you're older, you look back and you're looking at the cast of Saved by the Bell and you're like, are they still teenagers? like 30-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, he looks he was super young for his age, to be honest, wasn't he? I mean, even back then, I think he was hitting his 30s or something like that, and he's managed to make himself look like at least 20, 18.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, hats off to him.
so many good moments, like just the whole turning into Spider-Man as well. And Hugh didn't go home after that movie, the first one, and start trying to draw the Spider-Man that he drew in the. I just love it. Just
suddenly came up with the movie perfect.
But that's the
cosplay.
thing. It's like it's just like. colouring in red and blue is like the funnest thing ever.
Yeah.
And when you're drawing Spider-Man, it's just
big
like
clunky felt tips as well. Yeah.
And blue, Spider-Man. Just that excitement. I loved it. But the sequel,
Even better.
so it's better for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I came out of it like, whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But I think now, time to marinate, I still prefer the first one. Just because of
Really?
that. I think it's that New Hope, Empire Strikes Back debate. Do you know what I mean? You got to love the first one because it kicks things off, sort of thing.
It had a little bit of a corny moment where he sort of... I felt as...
There's a lot of cheese in these movies. Let's just get that out there.
Personally, it felt a little bit cheesy for me when he suddenly loses his powers just because he felt a little bit down. But otherwise, the action, it more than makes up for it. The fights between him and Dr. Octopus were just fantastic.
They're some of the best ever,
Yeah.
and they still are. They still hold up so well. That train sequence.
Yeah, the train sequence I was thinking of just stand out, and even like up and down the clock face and everything like that.
Don't you? When he's chucking
really
the clock hands at him,
That's
it's
it,
like
yeah.
that's a bit savage.
Yeah.
And Aunt May's like, ooh.
But yeah, no, it made a really sort of heavy character like was it Doc Ock was just
Alfred Molina, well done.
Yeah, very well done.
Because Sam Raimi understood this. I mean, he did it with Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe. He was like, you need to have like a mentor role because Pete's so young. He's like learning. It's great for him to, because he was robbed of like that influential father figure, Uncle Ben. He's still kind of searching for it, not intentionally, but it's just kind of happening. He's like listening to people. First one was obviously Norman Osborn's great scientist, sort of brilliant businessman. His best friend's dad, so trust and, abuse of that trust.
Yeah.
And then again it happens. We see that great opening scene, don't we, where he's like having dinner with Doc Ock and his wife, and it's like, making the sun in my lab, it's like, wow, cool, man, you need to push yourself, Peter, and all this sort of stuff. And then the sun explodes and shit goes bad with octopus arms, and
it all goes bad.
That's why I think I'm not so keen on it. It was the MacGuff, do you know what I mean? The big sort of end of the worldy thing. I don't know, it was a bit too out there for me. As aside from a crazy virus that turns you into a goblin, like Goblin Man hissing and stuff. I don't know, I liked the finale, but I feel I'm always pacing wise, I'm ready for the movie to finish when the train scene finishes. That's the finale for me, and then they sort of string you along for all this fluff. You know what I mean? Like with Mary Jane, and that's my biggest problem.
I don't know. I thought the best scene for me, the standout scene, was when Harry finally finds out that Peter Parker's Spider-Man as well. So seeing him sort of rip off just before he dies.
Well, that got you excited, didn't it?
Yeah.
I was really excited for that. I like that. Yeah, I like the whole Spider-Man in chains sort of thing, and he's like Barbed Wire. Well remembered. I don't watch that one every Christmas, guys. But I love it. Kirsten Dunst. I've already gone into a hair change.
You weren't sold.
No, she looked really washed out, and I think the scenes between them, they started to descend into what we got in Spider-Man 3. More on that later. It was just mushy, and it was a bit too teary-eyed, and it was like, I get it, they're in love, but it was just a bit weak for me.
I felt they never quite got Mary Jane's character anyway, because in the comics she was always this feisty, sort of really strong character.
She's a bit wet, wasn't she? In this one?
In Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, she was just the helpless damsel in distress sort of thing, being thrown from one thing to another. Help me!
She really did get locked about as well.
Yeah.
I was half expecting like a King Kong hand to come out of the side of the screen and grab her and take her on another journey. It's just like, this is what we do with damsels in distress. They're on the conveyor belt. They just get chucked around. But valid criticism, I think. So I think Mary Jane's probably one of the weaker elements of it. And the wedding dress at the end. Are you kidding me? The slow-mo.
Oh god,
more slow-mo.
Do you remember the little fan theory about one of them being Punisher?
Yeah, Thomas Jane, because it was at the same time it was coming out, wasn't
it?
And the dude does look like him. Yeah. I'm still convinced he was filming or something. He's just like, I'm the Punisher. Hey, do you want to drop in on
maybe
this?
when Marvel Studios are sharing the same thing.
Yeah,
exactly. Who's this running across the set?
That would have been so cool if he was just like, where are you going? I'm hunting Spider-Man.
Just cut that one short.
I love it.
Because Spider-Man's still miserable in his flat. Never turns around.
Oh, and also the weird flat with the cookies and the milk girl. What the hell?
That was weird.
That's Raimi. I mean, we've got to touch on some more Raimi-isms, actually, that are peppered through these movies. A lot of them are great, aren't they?
Yeah.
At least not Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
all of those cameos. It's just brilliant, isn't he? The Fight Club announcer in the first one, you know, the dude who won't let him in to see the show.
Oh yeah,
just
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
You know, it's just like, yeah, love those Raimi-isms. And of course, you know, more on Spider-Man 4 in a second after Spider-Man 3. Well, you're thinking, wait, Spider-Man 4? What? Yeah, really? Okay. Anyway, but yeah, Spider-Man 2, massive success. Anything else? I mean, I was feeling the buzz, and of course the game just added that. You know, we had that great question before about the Spider-Man game. It was an event movie yet again, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I it's one of those DVDs where I watch the special features just because I'm just immersed in the production of it.
They had some good special features actually, especially if you were a kid. Like they had Stanley's like commentary and also this like little fact file on previous Spidey villains as well. So they even went to ones that didn't even feature in the film. And yeah, as a young fan, I found that really good.
Yeah, it was incredible, and of course the ending did set things up, and it was nice to have Willem Dafoe crop in again.
Yeah,
for the mirror, you know, and the whole "He's Spider-Man,
avenge me."
Yeah, do it. Nah. Yeah, you might as well be watching the movie, guys. Yeah. So
it's like you were there.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2. I don't think it made as much actually. Spider-Man, I don't know. It's still a massive hit, but it was huge. This was like,
weirdly enough, we come to the one that did make the most.
Yeah, but I think the reason Spider-Man 3, and they had a bit of a gap. They had 3 years this time, 2007. That movie came out 1 year before The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
that's weird, isn't it? It just feels such like an old movie.
Yeah,
like because I think of how hokey it is, the whole thing, and it's like it feels like it should be old. It should like be like a 60s movie because it was just camp to the extreme.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, let's start off with the obvious, Venom.
Well, that's what everyone wanted to see, and they obviously plastered him all over the trailers, and that got me really excited.
It's the poster, isn't it? Yeah, him looking in the mirror, and there's the black suit, the symbiote suit.
I think they didn't even wait until the first trailer. I think it was in the first trailer where you see the start of the transformation.
It looks cool.
It looks amazing.
Why won't you be excited for this? It was that thing, isn't it? Everyone wanted Venom because he's just he's the villain, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the go-to villain when he comes to Spider-Man.
Yeah. Everyone knows, evil Spider-Man. You know, there's more to him than that, and that's the problem. They didn't get it, did they?
They went on a really weird tangent, to be honest.
Topher Grace? Yeah. Well.
Oh no, I was thinking just when the Venom's on Peter Parker.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Older. He's giving me the jazz fingers, guys. Ooh, B flat. Jazz. Give some shade. Yeah. Ooh, really I'm in emo now.
Yeah.
It's just like, put my hair in front of my face. No.
All kinds of no. I don't understand what they were thinking. I can only think that this is the studio getting really excited and wanting to sell toys, but it's just the feel of it.
Who buys dancing Peter Parker?
Well, no, I just don't understand where that all came from. Like
Bryce Dallas Howard as well as Gwen Stacy.
Yeah,
she's in that movie, by the way. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, that didn't.
Just cause.
Yeah.
Waste of a good actress.
Yeah, true.
She falls off stuff. So
they're another one to fall off stuff. Yeah, it just felt wrong. The whole style was just, considering it was the same creative team and everything. It just, I don't know what they were thinking.
I think it's a perfect example of studio interference because it still goes on now. We obviously still have it. You know, time will tell if it affected Batman vs Superman. You know, really, if they forced something in the editing room to happen. But yeah, the studio wanted Venom, and it's well documented that Raimi wanted Sandman, and that's it.
Yeah, Raimi wanted Sandman. He also wanted what's the living vampire, Morbius.
Do you remember in the cartoon when Morbius wasn't allowed to say he wants to drink some blood? He would say, "I need plasma."
Yeah,
it was really weird.
It's always about the plasma.
Yeah,
he's always
I'm low on plasma. I need some plasma. I guess it's scary, right? If a vampire wants to drink blood,
I guess.
I think if you're 8 years old, you get over it. But maybe they were concerned about kids trying to drain each other. Like, anyway,
I mean, with Raimi, obviously his shtick is obviously horror films and stuff like that. So I mean, I think. It probably, if he got his way, then we probably would have had an awesome Spider-Man.
Plus, we had that cool Blade movie.
Yeah,
and maybe the studio were concerned. It was like, no, that's vampire. This is Spider-Man. Let's keep thinking. It's not. He wouldn't ever be my first choice for a Spider-Man film. I have to say.
Yeah,
he's cool, but it's like, how'd you do him if he's not sort of like just Dracula? Kind of, whenever there's a Dracula type character.
Yeah,
it's kind of Dracula.
Kind of
Dracula. But Sandman. I think they could have gotten away with just having Sandman. Why not?
Yeah, they could have. And
if they changed the story,
was it Thomas?
A little.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah. If you haven't seen him in Sideways, that's an awesome movie. Just want to get that off my chest.
I also remember him in Idiocracy as well.
Yeah, great. Got some good suggestions for you there, guys.
But yeah, he was good. It started off quite interesting, and then it seemed like it was like the best bits of. It turned into the best bits of his origin. Very sort of
trying to tie it all up, wasn't it? And it was just weird.
Just
I didn't shoot you. I shot Uncle Ben.
Yeah, it's just very convoluted.
It was me accidentally.
Yeah,
I forgive you.
Right down to the fact that where he sort of falls into the pit of where they randomly wanted to swirl up some sand.
Yeah,
it made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, just lame.
Yeah, no,
it ain't good.
It was a bit of a rush job, and
it's not even like you can watch it in a funny way.
Yeah,
like maybe that one scene where he's dancing and like teasing Mary Jane with his dance moves. Yeah, I did, man. You just had this moment, didn't you, where it was just like, oh shit, this is a bad movie. It was the penny dropped. Up until that point, it hit me actually when we had straight away at the beginning, it was Sandman's origin in like 10 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was more like when he's running around the corner of like a street and there's one cop car like looking for him, and it's like dum 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 dum. Whoa, dum 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 dum. Really,
you see him sort of like creeping from pillar to pillar or something like that.
Like an old sort of 30s sort of gangster flick, a bad one, because there are some good ones around that time. But it just seemed like, what? Seriously, this is not living in the real world. This movie, you know, and Hobgoblin or whatever.
And once again, we have Peter Parker just crying at everything as well. Sort of like they break up. They break up again. That annoyed me as well. Was Harry Osborn as well, because obviously going off from Spider-Man 2, it sounded like he had this real hatred for Peter Parker and Spider-Man this time. He knew that they were one and the same, and I thought, I can't wait for Spider-Man 3, how they're going to deal with this. And it sounds like, he just won't talk to me now. It seems like a sort of really petulant sort of high school.
But then he comes out of nowhere to attack him in probably the most ridiculous Spider-Man sequence in that movie, aside from
the highly CGI.
Surely the most expensive catastrophe in a Spider-Man movie ever. You've got an in suit Peter Parker with a wedding ring that just won't fall on the floor. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
It's just about there. Yeah,
it's stupid. And then he knocks him out and he gets amnesia and then remembers.
Yeah.
What? That's a thing that happened? Just convoluted.
Yeah.
And Topher Grace's Venom just turns up out of nowhere, hates Peter Parker for no reason.
Oh yeah, he embarrassed him.
Yeah,
that
you embarrassed me. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, we'll move on. We want to end on a high note, so I'll just touch on someone who we haven't talked about in this trilogy, J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah,
more pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
How many times do we say that to each other when it's like
every other email, isn't it?
More pictures, please. Dudes, he's amazing. I love him. He's classic. And there's that great deleted scene from Spider-Man 2, isn't it? Where, of course, he turns the costume in to the Daily Bugle, and it's him on the desk, actually, in costume with the cigar. Love the guy. So funny. He's like, J.K. Simmons done a great job. J. Jonah Jameson, probably the best bit of casting in the whole series.
It's almost as if he was just made for the role, and like the role was based on him or something like that. That was a very good bit of casting.
He does well, and he's only ever in the movies for like 10 minutes maybe at most, and he's like, the first time he's like looking at the pictures of Spider-Man, it's like, these are amazing, and he's just like,
grab,
make a grab. $50 or whatever. Yeah, so good. Love those bugle scenes. They're cool. And do you remember who's J. Jonah Jameson's assistant?
Oh, Peggy Brand.
Yeah, I always liked her.
Yeah,
like I thought, because they're nice scenes, didn't they? But she categorically like shoots Peter Parker like flat. Yeah. But then you maybe thinking like the later films, she kind of like maybe missed the train a bit. Yeah.
But she was a love interest for one.
That was Elizabeth Banks, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
It was. And now she's empowering.
Hey,
hell yeah! Moving on up. She's doing well. Anyway, so we're on to the new Spider-Man trilogy. But before we get
make a note. Mention of the cancelled one?
Yes, let's do that quickly. That's a good one to talk about. So yeah, guys, you've probably seen new storyboards have emerged from one of these storyboard artists for Spider-Man 4, the cancelled project from Sony Pictures. So, I mean, they're pretty cool. I mean, they just look like a comic book, you know. Vulture is the villain on display. He would have been the main guy, which would have been cool.
Yeah.
Definitely a different sort of threat. And, you know...
Also had Mysterio as well, didn't
Yeah, well, the thing is, Sam Raimi, since this has come out, he's come out and actually said, he's spoken about the amicable separation he and Sony had. They were like, yo, I don't want to waste your time making Spider-Man 4 unless I can make it as good as I want. You know, I think there was, you know, he couldn't quite get the script right. He was going to do a montage, which is why you can see like Mysterio and Shocker and other sort of villains in there. And it's sort of like, whoa, he was going to have like 8 villains? No, I think he was going to do a cool montage of villains that were never going to get their own movie, which might not be the case now. Do you know what I mean? Like, when Spider-Man goes on forever, you kind of need to hold those back. But yeah, I mean, it would have been cool. I kind of would have liked to have seen them do Spider-Man 4 and not the Amazing Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean? Like, we'd certainly, you know, if the franchise had continued, we'd certainly be in a very different position than we are now. Because you'd think, would it have gotten stale by the time the Marvel movies came around?
I think if they had enough time to develop Spider-Man 4 in place of Amazing Spider-Man, then we could have probably had a much better film.
Yeah. I think there's a select elite of superheroes that can sustain a franchise like James Bond does.
Yeah. And
you'd be quite happy with different versions coming in, but as long as they follow the same sort of line and don't ever go back on themselves to try and reboot. So it's just another adventure and you never go back and retell the origin, which is what Spider-Man did. It went back and retold, so it doesn't quite count. But you can see Batman could do that, Iron Man could do that, you know, and I think Spider-Man's one of those that could do that. But yeah, Spider-Man 4, I'd have quite liked for him to get a bit of redemption because those first 2 movies are so good and so well loved. Yeah. Yeah. But no for you. Did you had enough by Spider-Man 3? No, don't give him any more money.
I don't know. Like I say, I just stand by that, my previous thing. I just think if they spent more time on Spider-Man 4, we might have had something that...
Bruce Campbell's Mysterio.
Always returning back.
That's the thing.
Could be. Was that actually a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
That would have
been awesome.
That would have been funny. Yeah, it'd be cool. But then we go on to, you know, there was a whole hoo-ha about them developing Venom on his own, you know, like doing it right, and Carnage, and just being like, yeah, let's get violent with these guys. But then enter the new director, new cast. Andrew Garfield is on board. Emma Stone, the Amazing Spider-Man movies. That first movie, I went in, I was watching it, and I was like, why am I here? I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's got a slightly different suit. He's not even Peter Parker to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like I say, I mean, with my article that I wrote, I preferred Garfield's take on Peter Parker to Tobey Maguire. It just felt more close to the animated series than I thought, than Maguire's was. But Maguire went all out nerd and everything like that, and it felt borderline uncomfortable for a stage. And this guy was a lot more cocky, and it was the humour that was there as well. Because in the Raimi ones, it kind of felt a little bit forced. He was always like this sort of crybaby sort of nerd thing, and then when he had the costume on, he had a few little quips. Again, it didn't feel right. It felt a bit too serious. But yeah, this guy felt like he was having a bit more fun with the role.
I mean, I think he communicated that sense of fun really well. You know, I don't hate it, but for me, it wasn't my Peter Parker, whatever. We'll get it better. Literally. I just feel it was too much. Like, you know, there's the whole basketball scene where he's just like, I'm going to jump and show off, and I just feel they played it better in the original. You know, with the whole awkward sort of punch and the, you know, webbing on the dinner tray and all that sort of stuff. And it just, the beats of the movie were the same. And of course, there's the biggest, you know, what is it, with moral obligation from Uncle Ben.
You have a moral obligation to do those things. Yeah.
The backstory with his parents as well. It's just like, Spider-Man's shtick isn't that he's an orphan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not his...
I think it annoyed me that they had to change so much to the origin story to try and make it their own.
Yeah.
Even the whole... Yeah, that whole stupid line and stuff like that. Right to the point where... What was it? Instead of wrestling someone or something like that, he just sort of runs away from some thugs and ends up in a wrestling ring and thought, oh, there's the mask.
It was just like, how can we tell this slightly differently? And it just felt a bit forced. And I didn't like the ending where it's like all the construction workers are like, let's line the cranes up.
Yeah.
Lizard as well.
That was really corny.
Rhys Ifans as the Lizard. Again, they tried to do that whole mentor thing, but they kind of just skipped over it, didn't they? He was always a weirdo.
Yeah.
They never had the Doc Connors being friends with Peter Parker thing.
You don't. Yeah, I know. Like the other film, the other trilogy spent 3 films, and he never turned into the Lizards. And then this guy turns up, has a
He's
couple
really
of
nice.
words. A little bit sort of standoffish. Oh, I knew you were Dad.
Yeah.
And then suddenly
starts getting
I
a little
hate
wet.
Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He's ruining my plans.
Sewers is bad CG as well. If you go back and look at it, they did have that cool scene in the library.
Yeah,
with Stanley.
Yeah.
There's one. I'll give him that. But the whole thing, he takes his mask off all the time as well. I ain't down with that.
In front of police as well.
The old movies did that as well, and it's just like, I don't care who you are, man. I know you're Peter Parker. You're in Spider-Man. Just keep your mask on.
Give those characters FaceTime, man.
Keep your characters. Keep your mask on. Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Big departure. And it followed 2 years again. They were like, whoa. So it wasn't as big a hit as they'd hoped, by the way, Sony. They were like, made a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but didn't put it in the critical sort of platform that those previous movies were.
It was weird. I saw this film in the cinema for the first time, and I was kind of overwhelmed by what was presented to me. Like the first Electro battle and everything like that. I was like, whoa, all this. It's just Spider-Man with dubstep and everything like that. And I thought, yeah. And I was kind of blown away with that. But then, on second viewing and everything like that, it's like, who's the main villain?
Yeah.
They were sort of saying, genuinely, it's Electro, and then he seems like some sort of, a background character then.
Overpowered
to
the extreme, to the point that he needs Gwen's help to flick a switch or something. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing. It made no sense. It's like they couldn't decide what Electro was going to be, because he kept on sort of being able to teleport himself, and then suddenly Spider-Man's able to get hold of him with his webs.
It's just... Yeah.
And then somehow punch him. It's like they changed their minds.
Just make him a dude that shoots lightning bolts.
Yeah. It's not
I need some more juice. Lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Simple stuff.
So, that kind of didn't make sense.
And he was weird as well. They changed his character an awful lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, they tried to do the whole Raimi thing again of having someone that Spider-Man has a relationship with. It's like, how does he have a relationship? He saved him one time and forgets his name.
It's
the opposite of a Martha moment. You know what I mean? It's just like, what is your name?
That's it.
I don't know.
Super villain time.
Yeah, and Rhino as well. Transformer.
Rhino
Come on, man.
Yeah, I was hoping for good things with Rhino, but Paul Giamatti, when he was announced,
he's in Sideways as well. Do you think he was talking to his buddy and was like, "You should do one of these"? If it's okay for my buddy, it's okay for me. I can turn up and be Rhino. It was terrible. It was so.
When
bad.
I saw the poster of that, I thought, really, they're going that way? It's just a robot suit.
I thought Optimus Prime was going to turn up, man. Just be like, "Hey, you, get back to the Transformer Zoo." I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it looked like it was trying to be serious, and then at the same time, it had too much of the sort of really cheesy sort of aspects of the cartoon and stuff.
And of course, it suffered from the whole Marvel doing their thing. Now it's like world building.
Yeah,
and it's like, Sinister Six, Norman Osborn's a creeper. Right at the end, you just had that. Just nothing really tied up nicely. It was just sort of like, we're making more of these. You're gonna like them.
They were doing the Warner Brothers thing. They were trying to build it up too quickly.
Yeah.
That's what was going on. They like you said before, they had the end sort of result. They went straight for the end result sort of thing, and they felt like they haven't earned it at that point. They're only 1.5 films in, and they were already trying to build a universe. And it seems like everything was coming from Oscorp as well.
Yeah, and then they did the same mistake again. Let's do every comic book storyline in this movie.
Yeah, do
you know what I mean? You kind of maybe had the Black Cat as well. Felicity Jones is in that movie, by the way.
Felicia.
She looks cool in the movie. I made no secret of the fact that I think she's okay, Felicity Jones. Just putting it out there. Awesome. I'd love to see a Black Cat movie. That could have been the Holy Grail. But anyway.
Yeah.
And then the death of Gwen Stacy. Just in there.
Didn't like it?
Well, I mean, everyone was expecting it.
Yeah. It was blatantly obvious with the costume when she showed up on set.
I think they did it well. I think the way her head hit the floor, and you knew her head had hit the floor. So,
well, it would have made more comfortable than watching her neck snap, to be honest.
But it was it's the little web making a hand.
I thought that was a pretty nice touch. I thought it was
Bit
quite a nice
emotional.
touch. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just drawing out the emotional strings there. Oh, I thought there were some bits they did.
Laying it on a bit thick, I think is the expression there.
Fair enough.
Rage can't read you.
I thought it was quite good. I enjoyed it.
It just rushed, didn't it? And then there's a fight with Green Goblin after the Electro.
I wanted to see more of Green Goblin.
Yeah, he was good. I thought that guy. Very different.
Like
Harry,
when you finally see him in his costume and he's making that connection between Spider-Man and finally, somehow deducing that him, because Gwen was there, he was Peter Parker. Obviously that's a bit high, but it was just that little sinister, like with all the violins and stuff like that in the background sort of thing, and it did sort of give me the goosebumps.
Really reminds me of BVS now. Now we're talking about it. He's almost like a Lex Luthor. Like, he's okay.
Sort of
like it happens. He just sort of accepting a different take on it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just goes batshit crazy and there's a Doomsday. There's a Green Goblin. You know what I mean? It's
True.
Quite similar to those movies, and just laying way too much in, building way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, it did kind of suffer the fate of too many villains.
Yeah. And then Marvel comes a knocking. And that's where we are, guys.
We never thought we'd see this happen, but it's the same sort of deal with the Hulk, isn't it? They've sort of got the rights, but at the same time not.
Yeah, and Sony is still in that weird position where they don't want to give up, I think, on all their development of Sinister Six. Hey man, we're getting a Suicide Squad movie. Sinister Six could be quite cool.
No, I don't think that's going to hold any. It's not going to hold a candle
without Spider-Man in it. Yeah, that's the thing. Spider-Man movie with the Sinister Six.
When they're trying to announce villains that haven't been seen before or anything like that. I'm assuming.
Craven, Shocker.
Yeah, sort of all these D-list ones as well, and I don't think they've got as much pedigree as what the DC villains are going to have. Obviously, they've got Joker and
he's just he could do his own movie.
Yeah, I mean Harley Quinn. I mean, admittedly, you've got Slipknot as well and stuff like that. Like who? But
I think you've got those. But that's the thing, man. You need two recognisable Doc Ock and. Maybe not.
Yeah,
I like Doc Ock. Don't get me wrong, but Sinister Six. They're in a weird place. But if there's we don't know what Sony have got in the pipeline, because Homecoming it's obviously Marvel input, but it's Sony
it's
movie
still
primarily. So we're still very optimistic though, because of course Tom Holland as Peter Parker.
Very good cameo in Civil War.
Very cool.
Definitely one of the highlights.
Yeah, check out our full Civil War spoiler review for more extended thoughts on Spider-Man's cameo, because dudes, we're in it now. Spider-Man Homecoming, dude. He's back at Marvel. He's got some serious stuff to deal with in the wake of Civil War.
Yeah,
his eyes have been opened, and he's got some cool gear as well. So it's a more technologically advanced Spider-Man than I think we're going to be used to see.
Yeah, well, Stark Tech Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Ooh, Iron Spider.
Yeah,
the rumour that won't go away. Could he be fighting an Iron Spider?
No. Spider Slayer.
Did you have the toy of the Spider Slayer toys?
No, I didn't actually.
They when I was younger, to stress that. They also you had the Scorpion underneath.
Yesterday.
Scorpion underneath, the black one on top, and then a little sort of purpley one, I think it was, that went on just shot stuff.
Oh, right.
Yeah, very cool. Spider-Man in the movies, Spider-Man in our hearts. We love this guy.
Yeah.
So good to see that he's in a very good place going forward. And really, he hasn't had that bad a time in the movies, really, all things considered. I think the positives far outweigh the bad, and that's why he's remained so popular. So, super excited, guys. Spider-Man is awesome. Civil War, go watch it again. It's great. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check us out on YouTube at Cape and Cowl Unlimited. Official website is capeandcowl.co.uk. Check us out. Subscribe if you're watching it on YouTube. You can download the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher. Podbean is the one we sort of really like to people to listen to. Bit of interaction there as well. So capeandcowl.podbean.com. Let us know, guys. Send in your questions. The Cape and Cowcast. Very happy to answer those. But this has been episode 18?
Yeah, 18.
18. Wow, check it out. Pretty cool. Gosh. Spider-Man is awesome. We'll see you guys.
Oh, no, 17. 17.
It's episode 17. Sorry, guys. Episode 17. I'm already thinking of 18 because it's going to be a good one, I think. And the rest of the team will be back as well. Ashley, Sam, Branko, who knows who it'll be. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. I've been Alex. That's been
Steve.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.